enters the stage, her veils glittering under the spotlight. The crowd holds its breath. No one knows her real name. No one knows her past. Was she only a dancer? Or something far more dangerous? Behind the curtains, whispers followed her across Europe. Secret meetings in hotel rooms, coded messages, powerful men falling under her spell. And when the world was at war, suspicion became her shadow. This is the story of Mata Hari, the spy dancer's last dance. Long before she became a name whispered in fear and fascination, she was Margaretha Zelle. Born in a small Dutch town in 1876, the daughter of a prosperous hat merchant. For a time, her childhood seemed secure. Silks, ribbons, the comfort of wealth. But fortunes shift. Her mother passed away. Her father abandoned the family, and the comfort of childhood was gone. By her teenage years, she was alone, restless, searching for escape. Escape came in the form of a uniform. At 18, she married Rudolph MacLeod, a Dutch officer twice her age. The marriage carried her far from Europe to the Dutch East Indies, a world of oppressive heat and simmering discontent. Their young son passed away, a devastating loss that shattered what little remained of their family. Haunted by grief and a loveless marriage, Margaretha fled, determined to carve out a new life in Paris. In the gaslit heart of Paris, she reinvented herself. She became not Margaretha, but Mata Hari, the eye of the day. Drawing on the West's fascination with the exotic East, she stepped onto the stage draped in veils, adorned with jewels, her movements hypnotic. For audiences starved of spectacle, she was a fantasy made real. Men leaned forward, transfixed. Critics called her a goddess, a vision, a mystery. Behind the allure was precision. She studied costumes, gestures, music. Every detail crafted an illusion, an exotic enchantress who seemed to drift between worlds. Her performances blurred truth and invention, and in that blur, a legend was born. Mata Hari had arrived, adored by crowds, courted by the wealthy, whispered about in salons and embassies. Her name was on every tongue, her past already fading into legend. But in Europe, on the brink of war, adoration would soon give way to suspicion. Her greatest performance was only beginning. Europe was burning. By 1914, war had engulfed the continent. Borders closed, armies marched, and paranoia seeped into every corner of daily life. For Mata Hari, the stages grew darker, the theaters emptier. Yet her name still opened doors. She dined with officers, drank with diplomats, charmed aristocrats. In a city under siege, she remained a glowing figure in dimly lit hotels and private salons. But admiration was no longer harmless. To some, she was a distraction. To others, a danger. Her travels across borders, her liaisons with men in uniform, her lavish gifts, all became points of suspicion. Then, French intelligence intercepted a coded telegram sent from a German official in Madrid back to Berlin. It spoke of the successes of a German agent, a woman known only by a code name, H21. Mata Hari denied everything. She insisted she was a patriot, that she was loyal to the country that had made her a star. She was even willing to spy for France, believing she could play the game and prove her loyalty. But espionage is a world where truth and fiction are twisted together. And in that world, her legend began to turn against her. Behind the curtains, whispers followed her across Europe. Hotel rooms where secret meetings blurred the line between romance and intrigue. Shadowed figures exchanging envelopes. Gentlemen entranced not only by her beauty, but by the secrets she seemed to carry. Every gesture, every journey, every companion drew closer scrutiny. France had lost thousands at the front, and its spy masters demanded a scapegoat. In that climate of suspicion, Mata Hari, once a goddess of the stage, became a convenient suspect. The walls of Paris were closing in. In February 1917, French authorities arrested Mata Hari in Paris, accusing her of working as a double agent. She was taken to Saint-Lazare prison, her stage replaced by stone walls and barred windows. Interrogations followed. She faced Captain Georges Ledoux, head of French counterintelligence. He pressed her about her travels, her admirers, her money. Each answer seemed to deepen suspicion rather than dispel it. The more she insisted on her innocence, the more they doubted her. Her trial began in July, behind closed doors. The evidence was thin: intercepted telegrams, whispered rumors, coded references to H21. Yet the stakes were enormous. France was bleeding at the front, desperate for victories, desperate for someone to blame. Witnesses described her connections with generals and diplomats, her lavish lifestyle, her journeys across borders. Her prosecutors argued that these were not the habits of a performer, but of a spy. Did she truly pass secrets? Or were her boasts and flirtations mistaken for treason? Historians still argue. What is certain is that in the summer of 1917, the verdict was decided not just by facts, but by fear. Mata Hari was found guilty of espionage. In the final months of her life, she was kept in a small cell in Paris, isolated and watched. Gone was the glitter of the stage, the veils and the jewels. In their place was silence, a woman left with her thoughts, waiting for the end. On a cold October morning, she was led to a field outside Paris. She refused the blindfold, choosing to face the firing squad with her eyes open. In her final moment, the performer took the stage one last time, an act of defiance against the men who had condemned her. More than a century later, her story still lingers. Was she a cunning agent who deceived Europe, or a scapegoat sacrificed to fear and war? Perhaps she was both. What remains is the legend of Mata Hari, dancer, courtesan, spy, myth. A woman who lived as an illusion and whose final performance has never been forgotten.